Hi everyone, I'm Alexis Moore and this is my presentation on the dark side of the internet. In particular, my focus of this presentation will be on the use of Bitcoins. To begin, I want to give a quick overview of what I will be discussing. In order to give you a better understanding, I will begin by explaining what a Bitcoin or Bitcoins are, then I will discuss how Bitcoins are used as well as how they are stored. And then I will move on to discuss the drawbacks or dark side of using Bitcoins and some tips to prevent these drawbacks from occurring. So what exactly is a Bitcoin? Bitcoins are a digital currency that are run independently without a central bank or a single administrator. Bitcoins can be sent from either person to person or company to company. Bitcoins can be exchanged for many purposes, such as other types of currency, in particular if trading with another country, or for products or even certain services. Why use Bitcoin? When using Bitcoins, merchandise has the ability to be purchased anonymously without having to trace it back to the purchaser. Bitcoins are not tied to a certain country, meaning numerous countries use Bitcoins for different purchases. By being versatile, international payments are both cheap and easy to complete. Bitcoins are a popular option for small companies as there are no credit fees that come along with purchases. Lastly, Bitcoins are used as an investment. Bitcoins have the ability to fluctuate in price, which can mean an increase in value for investors. Now that I've discussed what they are and how they are used, I will focus on how to buy them and store them. Bitcoins can be bought through an exchange, also known as a Bitcoin marketplace. These marketplaces allow users to buy, sell, and trade Bitcoins using different currencies. Bitcoins are stored in a digital wallet. These wallets are present either in the cloud or on users' devices. These wallets are also seen as virtual banks as users are able to sell, buy, and trade through them. Now I will get into the dark side of using Bitcoins. The first drawback is there is no guarantee on the value of Bitcoins. As I have mentioned, Bitcoins have a constant fluctuation of their value. There is no central authority, for example, a bank, that can guarantee its value in order for it to stay consistent. In particular, if a large number of Bitcoin users decide to quote unquote dump their investments, the value of Bitcoins will decrease substantially and hurt the rest of the investors. The second drawback of using Bitcoin is the ability to lose your virtual wallet. If your hard drive crashes or a virus corrupts all your technological data, that then causes the wallet to crash or also be corrupted. At this point, Bitcoins are lost and there's little to be done to recover. The coins then are in the system or cloud, and whoever owned them or was to be owed those coins have no way to get payment. There are some steps that can be taken in order to possibly prevent this from occurring. First, there is something called cold storage wallets. This is an offline mode, meaning not connected to the internet, wallet, making it more difficult to be lost in viruses or through theft. Secondly, it is important to back up your Bitcoin wallet in the case of viruses or hard drive crash. Lastly, users should continuously update their software. A wallet that runs off non-updated software makes for easier loss if the technology malfunctions or in the case of theft. Another dark side of using Bitcoins is there's no buyer protection. If a buyer is buying goods through Bitcoin and the seller does not send those goods, there is no way to reverse the transaction. The seller has, at this point, already received your payment of Bitcoins, and since it's anonymous, there is no way to trace that payment. In order to prevent this from occurring, buyers should go the extra mile for their own protection. The buyer should get a third person involved to act either as a witness or a message runner. In the case of a witness, the third person would be required to provide an electric signature on the transaction. To act as a messenger, the third person may be used as a middleman between the buyer and seller. All Bitcoins and goods would then be run through that person, guaranteeing that both the buyer and seller are protected and receive their end of the transaction. Lastly, and the greatest drawback of using Bitcoins is theft. Some companies that use Bitcoins for their businesses are actually fronts for financial crimes like fraud. They commit these online frauds through both exchanges with other companies and individual investors. These companies also find Bitcoin wallets that have security flaws, making them vulnerable to attack and allowing hackers to steal their funds. Similar, dark web marketplaces find vulnerable wallets and either hack them or allow purchasers to make a transaction without exchange goods. To prevent theft from occurring, users should make sure their Bitcoin wallets are secure and software is updated, as mentioned earlier. Before making an exchange with a company, users should research the buyer's company before making a guarantee. If a buyer seems too good to be true, it probably is, and users should be cautious when making a transaction. Lastly, users should avoid the dark web altogether. Similar to real-world black markets, the dark web is a dangerous place and is a large security risk for both buyers and sellers of Bitcoins. In conclusion, when using Bitcoins, it is important to be cautious of who is on the other end and make sure all of your information, and especially your digital wallet, is secure before logging into a Bitcoin marketplace. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and here I have provided the references I have used.